I'm Dustin Abbott. One of the perks of doing what I do is the opportunity to try out all kinds of the newest gear that hits the market. This year alone, I'll have reviewed somewhere near 30 different either lenses or camera bodies along the way. And so as a result, I get a chance to evaluate personally and really kind of weed out what is the absolute best out there. So I thought I'd shoot a little segment today to let you know what, out of all the things I have reviewed this year, that I've elected to add to my own kit. Now, I will add to this that, of course, it's all about filling a need. I've reviewed some fantastic lenses, some of which that I simply can't afford, like some of the Zeiss Otis lenses, or lenses that are good but don't necessarily fill an existing need within my own personal kit. But these are the lenses that I've elected to, in some cases, even make room for in my own kit because they really stood out from the crowd. And first, let me just say, I added a couple of bodies this year, not because I previously reviewed them, but kind of to fill a need and some upgrade. For one, I needed an EFS or APS-C crop sensor body for reviewing some crop sensor lenses. And so, because I don't shoot crop sensor a lot, I didn't add the absolute top of the line, but I did want a good body which would be good for some sports action. So I elected to go with the couple-of-year-old Canon ES70D camera. It's got a very good AF system. It's got a fairly fast burst rate of about 7 frames per second. And so it's suited the need for me in that. And so I've added that to my kit. I also added the EOS M3 that I reviewed just a few weeks ago, and I've really enjoyed this little mirrorless body from Canon, even though it's got some shortcomings which I detailed in that review. But to add this, I moved out the EOS M body, which I was previously using in a similar fashion. It stayed in the family though, and it's gone to my son Samuel, and he's producing some great images with it. And so throughout the year, I've reviewed some really great lenses. This year has been a fantastic year for lenses, both those that were released right at the end of 2014 and then some great releases throughout 2015. For me, it started with one of the top lenses that I was really anticipating reviewing at the very beginning of this year was the new Canon 100 to 400 millimeter f4.5 to 5.6 LIS, and this is the Mark II of the lens. When I reviewed this lens, I was really impressed by it. There was really next to nothing I could criticize about it. I liked the design, I liked the image quality, I liked that it's reasonably compact while offering a great deal of reach. And so I was faced with a hard decision at that point. I had two lenses in my kit that I also really liked using, and one was my 70 to 300 f4 to 5.6 LIS USM lens that I've used for about 3 to 4 years, and it's been one of my favorite lenses in my kit. It was great as a travel option. It was great as just a general purpose telephoto zoom. But I was impressed enough by this lens that I thought, that may even be a better choice for my kit. I also had a Tamron 150 to 600 millimeter VC lens in my kit. And while I think that lens is a fantastic lens, particularly for its price point, I felt like I could kind of consolidate those two lenses into this one. And so I elected to do that this year and just recently added this to my kit. And I'm really delighted with the lens and looking forward to the images I can produce with it, with an extender in its bare form and on both full frame and crop sensor bodies. And so that's been a great addition to my kit and a lens that I'm highly impressed by. The second lens that I was most excited about reviewing this year was the new Tamron 15 to 30 millimeter f2.8 VC lens. And those of you that watched my reviews know that I first did a review of this, and then a month or two later I did an ongoing extended comparison with a couple of the Canon alternatives. At the end of the day, although one of those Canon lenses, one I reviewed last year, the 16 to 35 f4 LIS, is a fantastic lens. This lens excited me a bit more. It had the image stabilizer along with the wider aperture, also a wider focal length. The trade-off, of course, was that it doesn't allow you to use traditional threaded filters on the top, but I've also added the Photodiox Wonder Pana filter system for this lens, and it is an amazing combination, one I'm really enjoying using. I also, kind of in mind of wanting a telephoto option for the EOS M system or the M3, And then also thinking about travel purposes and wanting a lightweight telephoto lens. It is a 55 to 200 millimeter f4.5 to 6.3 IS STM lens, and that's for the EOS M system and its EFM mount. As you can see, this is a really compact little telephoto that's got a nice little zoom range on it that allows me to get an equivalent reach of over 300 millimeters on a full frame system in a very compact fashion. In fact, I've discovered that the combination of these two things has become my go-to bring along extra system when I'm going out with this big boy and also the photodiox system, because it allows me to have a telephoto look at some landscape scenes. And I've really been impressed with this little combination. And so it's been a great addition to my own personal kit. Finally, more recently, I did a review of the new Tamron series of primes, the 35mm and 45mm f1.8 VC lenses. I'm not saying that the 45mm is the better of the two. The 35mm might actually be better, but I had a great 35mm lens in my kit already. But those of you that read or watched my reviews know that I've kind of been on a quest to find a modern autofocus lens that ticked enough of the boxes for me. And there's a couple of big priorities. One was image quality, particularly wide open. Secondly, I needed accurate autofocus. And then, of course, the addition of this having a pro-grade build along with weather sealing was the icing on the cake. It's not a perfect lens, but those things, along with having an amazing class-leading minimum focus and maximum magnification figure, tipped me in favor of adding this Tamron to my own kit. Now, I will add to this that this is actually my Christmas present. My wife's giving it to me, so she doesn't know it's out of the box, and please don't tell her. But anyway, I wanted to have it here to share with you here today. And so these are the lenses that I have added to my kit, and I think that all of these are worthy of your consideration. If you're looking for something in these categories, I've been impressed enough by them that I made room with them in my own kit. I moved out the Rokinon 14mm f2.8 in lieu of this as well. I've been impressed enough with them that I have spent the money and done the work to get them added to my own kit. And so perhaps it's time for you to be doing a little Christmas shopping yourself, and maybe you want to drop a hint to your wife as well. I'm Dustin Abbott. If you haven't already, please subscribe.